Okay, so episode 4 came out, and again, I think I'm gonna give a title to each episode. This one will be called Jealousy. Because we finally get to see Poon and Earn kind of fight over No, and then you could see how they're both jealous, and I think they're kind of suspecting that like Poon suspects that Earn might like No, or Earn might suspect that Poon likes No. So we shall see how that goes. But I love this episode, how they were both kind of fighting over him, but not like really fighting over him. We start off with the schools having some kind of event where there's like the marching band is coming out, the soccer team, and the whole like both Poon, Earn, and No, they're each in charge of something within that department, and they're each getting something ready. And then, of course, the whole thing with the drums come through. They're each doing their own thing. And the main part of the episode kind of centers about the whole situation with the drums. As you guys recall from the last episode, they didn't have enough money for the drums, and Poom was trying to work something out to help No. And he said, if anything, I got you, I'll pay for them, and then we'll figure it out later. And of course, Earn comes along, and then No just spills the beans and say what's going on, because they've been trying to get these drums, and they're short budgeted for their club. And then, of course, out of nowhere, Earn is being a whole sugar daddy. He's just like, hey, I'm gonna make it rain on you, and just drop it into his cash app or whatever they use in Thailand, and he just sends him the money right away without No even asking. And then they have that lingering moment where he's holding onto his hands, and he's just like, listen, it's okay, like I don't mind giving you this money. You could just pay me back later, just gotta do something for me. And at first I thought he was gonna ask for something sketchy, the way they were starting it off with the fact that he was just like mumbling and stumbling, and No was just like, listen, just say what's on your mind, just get it over with. And he just asked him to help him out with the event, and No's just like, oh, that's it, okay, so no problem. But then, of course, Poon gets mad because this whole time he kept telling No, I got your back, I got this, I'm gonna resolve this issue with the club for you, resolve the issue with the budget, and even if I don't, I'm always gonna make sure that the drums are paid for you. And then to find out that his kind of like rival, his love rival, is the one that ended up saving No, and he's just not having it. And I love how they had that little Kabedon moment. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but it's basically when, like, in every K drama where the main character is usually a guy and then backs the girl up into a wall, and he's just like do the palm hit. But I'm like, I wish Poon would have done a stronger, like, we want that Kabedon, we want that strong hit, but he didn't do it. But it was kind of like a little bit similar to that, so I kind of like that. And I thought he would have gotten a lot closer, but he didn't. But he did show No that what you did, I didn't like that, because it just shows that you don't trust me, you don't trust that I got your back. And No kind of felt bad, and throughout this episode you see that No's reflecting, like, did I do something wrong, what's going on, like, and then he asked Om for his opinion, like, maybe I shouldn't have done that, like, or then Om was like, of course, yeah, I would think you're such a jerk, like, why would you do something like that? But No's just like, yeah, but I don't really think so, because to him he's just like, No didn't ask Earn to give him the money. He just sent it to him. He didn't ask for it. He was just venting, his frustration as to what was going on regarding the drums for the music club. And then Earn was just like, I'm just gonna make it rain on you, just don't worry about it. And then, the fact that Poon got mad, even though the whole time, like, No kept trying to, like, find a way to talk to Poon to try to get the money, because I think No wanted to get the money for Earn, like, to give it back to him as quickly as possible, because No didn't want to be, like, in his debt. It's kind of the way, like, he didn't want him to, like, No didn't want to have to owe Earn money. So the fact that he was trying to get it quick, I think it kind of says something about No, like, he probably really doesn't like him like that. But we'll find out more towards the episodes as they go on. But the whole time, No is just reflecting, like, what did he do wrong, because he's trying to figure out how to make it up to Poon. And I mentioned this in regards to the last episode, like episode 3, of how mature this version of Lovesick is compared to the 2014 version. Because again, No realizes what he did wrong once he talked to Om, and he talked to his friend. He's like, hey, this is what happened, and he vented, and immediately knows, like, you know what, I'm gonna say sorry. And he leaves his house to try to go over to say, hey, listen, I made a mistake, that was my bad, and he was going to apologize. And of course, Poon shows up right behind him, like, "Hey, where you going?" You know. So it shows that Poon was like he was gonna talk to No because he kind of left things unsaid and just walked out on No without telling him why he was mad. So I think that was a good thing that they ended up meeting each other. They both had the same idea to apologize to each other, and of course, Poon just outright just says it, "Hey, I didn't like what you did," you know, and it just again shows how they're approaching this series with more like maturity, less like ambiguity. Everyone is just clear regarding their feelings, regarding what they want from each other, regarding like how they want things to go in between them. Like it's really nice to see. It's kind of refreshing to see, even though with us BL watchers, we like a little angst, we like a little, a little fight between the characters, but seeing this like clear cut communication, seeing everybody just resolve things right away within one episode too, not like cutting it like to like making it last several episodes, but it was so refreshing to see that. Hey, I messed up. Hey, I shouldn't have done this way. Sorry we didn't talk about it before, but we're cool now. Let's just move on. And I love that. I love seeing that. And I'd also love to see like how they're bringing back some of the old characters. I don't know if you guys remember again from the 2014 version, but they brought back Gunsmile, and he is the one that sold the drums to No. So it's kind of nice seeing some of these GMMTV actors. First with Jenny that we had in the first episode, and then now with Gunsmile in episode 4. So it's nice to see old faces. I'm wondering if they're gonna bring back more of the old cast members to reprise like maybe newer roles. And I'm wondering like who would be the ones to come back. I don't know if Captain will come back. I doubt it, but maybe Sammy might come back. Maybe even White might come back, but we'll see because they already did the whole reminders version for the Love Sick 2014, and they did kind of like that 3-episode series. But it's nice to see some of these characters coming back and having that nostalgia, like they're really like putting it back in. It was really nice to see. We see more also like another interaction between Ohm and between Mick, and then I thought it was kind of crazy that Mick was just asking Ohm like a few days before their event to just ask him how to play like the saxophone or the trombone, like that little instrument. Don't mind me if I don't know, but he was asking him like last minute how to play it, and I like that little comedy that they had where almost just like, are you crazy? Like for me to teach you how to play this like just 2 to 3 days before the whole event, like that's not gonna happen. Like that's not gonna happen. And then even though Mick was giving him that puppy dog eyes, that always work on all the characters, right? All the tops always fall for the bottoms when they have that sad little look in their eyes, and they just automatically give in. It almost like, no, I'm not gonna fall for it. Like, be for real. Like, be for real right now. This is not happening. Like, just we could do something else. Like, if you want to participate, we'll have you do something else. And of course, Film, who's already like going for Mick, and he's just like, no, you can't have him be out in the heat, and everyone's looking at him like, this one has talent, never been hot, So it was kind of funny to see. Like there was a lot of comedy throughout this whole episode, but the main focus was really the story between Poon, No, and Earn, and all the little jealous moments that they had from Poon being jealous of Earn giving No the necklace, like that whole business of showing off, and that little scene between all three of them really was just like, first Poon was texting No, and then Poon was looking at Earn, and when No came into the council room, and then Poon told No, like, hey, I didn't know you were just outside. You could have just told me instead of texting me. And then he looked over at Earn, and I was like, yeah, that's who I was texting. That's who had me smiling like that, looking down at my phone and smiling. Everyone was just like, oh, that was him. And then of course Earn got jealous, and then No saw the necklace, and then Earn was just like, oh, you can have it, even though he told everybody else they couldn't have it. So everyone was like, wait, you told me you couldn't have it. And then of course him putting it on No made Poon super jealous, and it's just that little rivalry that they have. I know it's gonna go like a lot further, so I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see how they like kind of interact with each other between Poon and No and Earn. And again, we both know that they confess to each other, so I'm still waiting to see how much further their relationship's gonna go, what they're gonna do about it. We didn't see Aim or Yuri, which is Aim is Poon's girlfriend, Yuri is Noel's girlfriend. We didn't see either one of them in this episode, so I'm waiting to see what's gonna happen next. As always, like I love this show so far. I really love the remake. Some of the characters they're showing a lot more maturity compared to the 2014 version, and again, I think it's because we don't have that like that 50 episode time frame that we have with the old one with the 2014 version. So making like all their fights, all their miscommunications, like resolving everything within one episode and showing that level of maturity is like it's bringing the show up to like a whole nother level. And I can't wait to see what happened next.